Hello, good afternoon, students. This video I am going to upload for MA final year students on modernism and postmodernism. As you all know that I started the text. Before that I delivered 2-3 lectures in which we talked about modernist and postmodernist tendencies, and I also told you that it is a ruptural break and a continuation. Postmodernism is ruptural break and continuation of modernism's thesis. So where it is continuation, where it is a break from modernism, that all those things I am going to talk about in this video. Some of the students are of the opinion that we need to have certain videos on postmodernism because that is going to be asked in the examination. So first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you modernism. What is modernism? If you are asked to in one line, suppose in an interview you are facing and you are asked that what is modernism, so you can say modernism is the attempt from the side of writers to capture the sensibility of modernism, or it is a critique of modernist people, modernity, that way. So it is a kind of critiquing of the modernity, and since time immemorial it is supposed that literature is a mirror of society. So literature do the mirroring by capturing the basic trends and basic sensibility which are prevalent in particular era. So this is related to the era. We can go back 1890, and it is supposed that before this movement came, as you all know that movement does not come in a by leaps and bounds all of a sudden. Any movement, if you trace the history, you will find that it remains in the air for a long time. So how this modernism came about, if you try to understand, you will see that since the time of Darwinism, the change started. Its beginning, I can tell you, starts from Darwinism, and after that Marx came, and after that Nietzsche came. So the philosophies are very important. As I have told you that philosophies shapes our sensibilities. The kind of philosophy prevalent in an era, the kind of sensibility we are having, and the kind of sensibility we are having, the kind of behavior we show, the conduct we show in our life. So modernism, rightly speaking, starts around the First World War, but the 1890 is supposed to be the exact date, and it is regarded that it was a kind of earthquake. It was a kind of earthquake that shook the entire world, and its epicenter was Vienna. Later on in Germany, Italy and France came into the grip of this earthquake named modernism, and then even England, Great Britain came into its impact. So that way we can say the movement has got a very wide influence. And second thing that you need to know, the high modernism, the time of high modernism is 1920 to 1930, and after that modernism subsides because of certain situations that arose in cultural crisis in politics, crisis in culture, and other things. So let me tell you the proper definition of modernism. It is a kind of aesthetic movement, and the aesthetic movement that brought a wholesale change. As you all know that pre-20th century, that is the time period up to 1900, that was dominated by the in philosophy and in way to life, it was dominated by the faith in God and community feeling and all that. But since the time of Victorian era, as you all know that urbanization started taking place because of the industrialization. People migrated from the countryside to the cities, and there they lost their identity because of the crowd that Wordsworth mentions in his poem. and also the cultural alienation, the identity crisis, these things started, and it came about around 1900, 1910 in full swing. So we can say this is a movement in overall scenario, like painting, music, sculpture, architecture. In every field its impact is to be seen, and in philosophy also, in thinking also, thinking of the people. Because before 20th century, the society was having certain norms. God was very relevant, God was very the center of faith, and society was having some sort of values. All those values, all those you can say ideologies which were prevalent pre-20th, in the time of pre-20th century, that is now being challenged, and that is why it is called theory movement. Lots of movement came about: Dadaism, Cubism, Surrealism, and this one which Ezra Pound and Eliot, Imagism. So these movements were there, and the writers all of a sudden started feeling that it is much that we have talked about the outer reality a lot, and we should look inward, and we should try to understand what is going on, that is super reality, what is in the mind of the people. That is how the novelists like Virginia Woolf and Henry James and Proust and many other novelists of 20th century have evolved a kind of technique that is called stream of consciousness technique, in which they are trying to peep into the soul of the character, into the mind of the character, how the mind works. And Freud is also a very great influence. So I can tell you, Freud, Nietzsche, Marx, and many more factors were there, but these are the main Darwin, they are the main forces behind modernism that brought modernism, and that can be said to be responsible for bringing modernism. And this modernism is actually experimental, lots of experimentation is done, and that is a kind of break, that is a kind of they challenge all those pre-existing notions, whether in the field of society, whether in the field of ideology, whether in the field of faith, whether in the field of literature, or in the field of economics, everywhere. So we can say that this is a movement that has been over gripping entire mass consciousness. The consciousness of the people was bombarded in a way, and you can say that the modernist movement, its impact can be felt in the realm of music, and where there used to be melody, rhythm, they were sidelined. Melody, instead of melody and rhythm, there came to be a very crude sort of songs to be composed. And in the same way, we can say the impact of modernism brought back the plain structures. Instead of pitched roof and all that, pitched roof and very decorated kind of interior, it took the form of plain roof and other things. So architectural field was also influenced by it. And as our main course, main concern is literature, I am going to tell you what are the changes that we can notice in the field of, in the area of literature. Poetry became more prosaic, and prose became more poetic. That is one thing. And the impressionism that was there, like subjectivity, how the subjectivity is decided. Subjectivity is decided by impressionism. So earlier people used to think, we started seeing that, the writers started seeing that how we see. What we see was not the, earlier it was the case, what we see. Now the writers in modernism started the new thing, that is how we see, that is important. So this is a kind of change, and that is why they have invented this stream of consciousness technique. And the second change, that is their apparent subjectivity produced by such features as omniscient external narratives. Instead of omniscient external narrative, linear plot and coherence in the plot structure, right, proper beginning, proper middle and proper end, instead of these things, what came about, they started fractured narrative and movement backward, movement forward. So the linear structure of plot and full-fledged characterization that used to be in vogue in the pre-20th century literature, that has been challenged and that has been toppled down. The Aristotelian concept of plot and structure and character, ethos and dynia, and the hero must be reflecting ethos and dynia at regular basis by his action. All these notions were forsaken, and they said that it is not important. There remain actually no, the concept of hero has gone. Instead of that, what came about there? Concept of protagonist. Simple, he is a simple kind of a man. No heroism is to be found there. No distinction from ordinary people is to be found there, because the life became very complex. When you read T.S. Eliot, it is said, T.S. Eliot says that we try to capture the complexity of life in literature, and life in 20th century was very complex, and in order to capture that complexity, they have changed the not only the subject matter but also the technique. And technical innovation has brought so many differences from earlier time, because they were different in their thinking mode, they were different in their attitude, people were different in their cultural values, they have been facing very different kind of mindset. At the same time, in literature, they are trying to capture all these things which were happening in the society, and literature, instead of being an aesthetic production, it now has become the main source of representing the life that is to be found in the society. And the third important thing is bringing up the distinction between genres. So the blurring, the distinction that used to be there earlier, drama, novel, short story, poetry. So these distinctions are now blurred, and the prosaic quality can be found in poetry, poetic quality can be found in prose. So this kind of a collaging is done. That is why it is said 20th century poetry or 20th century poetry is a kind of bricolage, like the poem The Wasteland by Eliot. It can be called bricolage, or we can say collaging of ideas. They were inspired by Dadaism and avant-gardism. Avant-gardists were bent upon to end the autonomy of art, and all sorts of privileged position that art was sanctioned. They were against it, and they wanted to make it humble. They wanted to make it as humble as any product of the society, any product of the society. So that is there, and then new literature or 20th century literature or modernist literature can be called the literature of fragmentation. Fragmentation, as I told you, that social values are fragmented, and chaos is to be found in faith, religious faith, because people started becoming skeptic in the leadership because of the views of Darwin, because of the views of Marx. Their main central ideas are very important. Like Nietzsche said that once he was moving with the lantern, and somebody asked, "What are you searching for? You are carrying lantern in the daytime." He said that I am searching God and I am not getting it. So he rejected God, and they were the forces in a way, great intellectuals. And Marx said that consciousness is determined by economics. It is our economic situation, in economic position, that shapes our consciousness. Consciousness does not shape our status, rather status shapes our consciousness. And what religion is like opium, and the concept of Das Capital means he somewhere wanted to bring a kind of true socialism, the theory of socialism. And then psychoanalytic theory is given by Lacan and Freud. That also contributed a lot, because this was the time, very fertile time. Lots of researches were going on in the field of psychology, anthropology, and other fields, and they are were influencing the literary productions. So we can say the literature of modernist movement or modernism is fragmentation. Fragmentation can be seen on the outer level, on the social level, on the societal norms, on the level of people's faith, attitude, and also disintegration in the inside. Inside disintegration is also to be found, as I had given the example while teaching the wasteland, that the lady who is supposed to be enjoying all sorts of luxuries, but she wants response from her lover, and when he is unable to speak anything, she runs in the street barefooted, opening her hair, and she is suffering from schizophrenia, or we can say hysteria. So that kind of thing is very commonly to be traced in the society, and in order to capture that thing, they have used they have made the literature fragmented. Not There is no whole, there is no logical connection between one scene and the other. Lots of movement backward and forward is to be found there. So these are the things: fragmentation, fragmented values. They talk not of any value that can integrate the society, because people before 20th century believed in science, and they thought that science is the ultimate thing and it can give us remedy to all the problems that we are having. But all of a sudden, when there happens to be World War I and lots of bombardment and lots of calamity is faced by the people, their faith in science had a very great setback. Now they are in a chaotic situation, and they were not in a position to understand what should they do, what things they should believe in. They were having no clue at all. That is why cultural anarchy is there. And T.S. Eliot says that London Bridge is falling. I told you that London Bridge is the symbol of European civilization, and the pillars of European civilization is appearing to be in a way collapsing. Everything is getting collapsed. And then the tendency towards reflexivity, so that poems, plays and novels raise issues concerning their own nature, status and role. This thing also happened to be there, and this way the overall result of these shifts is to produce literature which seems dedicated to experimentation and innovation. Lots of experimentation in the subject matter, in the characterization, in the plot, and in the technical stylistic level is to be found. And this modernism started taking the world into its grip around 1910, and 1920 to 30 is the time of high modernism. And after that, what happened? After 1930, it saw retreat due to the political situations, due to the crisis, political and cultural crisis. There became a kind of retreat during the 30s, and the fever, we can say, or the movement got it subsided after that. And in 1960s again the similar sort of situation arose, and the same sort of craze for modernism can be found in 1960s. and people felt the same sort of enthusiasm among the writers for this tendency during 1960s, but it could not achieve its earlier fervor, and after 10 years or so, it was replaced by postmodernism. And so we have to remember 2-3 things. It is a movement that can be seen not only in the field of literature but in overall things, sculpture, painting, music. Like in painting, earlier perspectives and very pictorial images were presented, but now the flat paintings are being made without having any perspective. So these are the things. And then minimalism technique of minimalism, to speak something, to express something in minimum words, in minimum room, because there is eclecticism, as we find in the novels of Virginia Woolf or in the poems of T.S. Eliot. Lots of references are there to be found. So the poem appears to be mosaic of quotations. It is said that it is a mosaic of quotations. But all in all, what is more important is these are the technical and innovative and thematic aspects of modernism. But as far as the philosophy of life was concerned, they still somewhere upheld the philosophy that was prevalent earlier in the pre-20th century time. Although people were not believing in those things, but the writers like Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, and Wallace Stevens, and many other, Melam in France, and Frank Kafka, Proust. These writers were somewhere making an attempt to lament this situation. The vacuum that has been created, the vacuum in the philosophical dimension, the vacuum in the faith of the people, in the attitude of the people, that has been created due to industrialization, due to new scene and scenario that is prevailing in English society. These writers they have tried to lamenting the philosophical dimension and the unity, the concept of unity, the ideals, the virtues, the God-centric views, ideologies. They have in a way lamentation in their works, and it shows that somewhere they were they thought that that time was good, and that the basic nuances of that pre-20th century times should be brought back. That is why the alienation is there. Alienation, why it happens when you regard something important and you are out of it, you are away from it, you feel, because that thing is dear to you, that is why you remember it and you want it back. That is missing something. So that identity crisis is because of the crowd, and alienation, they are feeling alienated from the cultural, from the philosophical attitudes of the previous century. That is there, and these are the main themes of modernist literature. And it is said that modernism is lamentation of the loss of unity, loss of God, loss of universal ideas which were earlier there, and postmodernism is a celebration of it. Postmodernists say that there is nothing important to which we should try to get connected. So it is a matter of celebration, not a matter of loss. That is the basic difference between postmodernism and modernism. Postmodernism and modernism both are making use of bricolage, irony, satire, pun. These are the literary tools, and the fragmentation is to be found here. Fragmentation is to be found in postmodernism also, and the same sort of fractured narrative is there loss of unity is there, Brickloging is there. But in postmodernism, the philosophical dimension is quite different. Philosophically, they think that they are not having any botheration, they are having no problem by getting detached from the earlier roots. They are not trying to get back to the roots. That is the basic difference, and in the next video I will be talking exclusively about postmodernism. So this is about modernist movement, modernism. Lots of things are there to be said, but all in all you have to understand that this is a movement in the field of aesthetics, or we can say this is a aesthetic movement that has brought wholesale change in the writings, in the subject matter, in the style, in the vocabulary, in the images, in the use of metaphors and symbols. Personal symbols are being used, and images are quite different, like patient authorized on the table, like evening. That kind of images are there. So the main novelists that you have to consider is Proust, Henry James, and Virginia Woolf, James Joyce. Main poets are T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, and others. So this way we are stopping here, and in the next video I will be talking about postmodernism. Thank you.